Jin couldn't stop crying. Jungkook said something that shook his heart. An emotional moment reoccurred between BTS members, this time involving Jin and Jungkook. Footage circulating on social media showed Jin seemingly crying nonstop, while Jungkook stood nearby with a meaningful expression. It didn't take long. The ARMY immediately speculated. What really happened? Did Jungkook say something so touching that Jin couldn't hold back his tears? Or is there something else they've been hiding from the public? Jin's tears that invite speculation. Jin, who is known as a cheerful and warm figure in BTS, is rarely seen crying in public. Although in some specific moments he has shown his emotions, this time it was different. Reddened eyes, a downcast face, and hands that repeatedly wiped away tears indicated that something was really shaking his heart. The ARMY who witnessed this incident immediately filled social media with various speculations. Is it about separation? Did Jungkook say something that touched his heart? Asked a fan on Twitter. Others suspect that this may be related to BTS' journey increasingly entering a new phase in their career. What did Jungkook say? In a recorded moment, Jungkook appears to be speaking in an emotional voice. Although not all of his words sounded clear, some speculated that he conveyed something so profound and touching. Some sources say that Jungkook said, "Hyum, you always take care of us. Now, let's take care of you and support you." This sentence, if true, would have been an emotional blow to Jin. As the oldest member, Jin has always been a protective figure for his younger siblings in BTS. However, with the changes that have taken place, especially with the conscription that he is now undergoing, there may be a feeling of heaviness that he will have to bear. Jungkook, the brother who is always sincere, it is undeniable that the relationship between Jungkook and Jin has always been special. As the magnate of BTS, Jungkook has relied heavily on Jin since they were teenagers. However, over time, Jungkook grows into a grown man who now wants to protect his young. Some of the ARMY argued that Jungkook's words were not merely an expression of affection, but also a form of trust and support. Jungkook really showed how precious Jin is to himself and to BTS, a fan wrote on Weverse. However, the question is there something bigger that BTS is hiding? Is this just an ordinary expression of emotions? Or is there news that we do not yet know? Speculations are emerging. Farewell or surprise? Considering BTS is currently in a transition period, with several members about to serve in the military, many consider this moment a symbol of temporary separation. Jin, who became the first member to enlist, may have felt sadness at having to part with his younger siblings. However, there is also another theory. Some fans believe that this moment is not about parting, but about something bigger, perhaps an important announcement that BTS is preparing. It could be related to their future comeback plans, or a special project involving Jin. ARMY posted on a community forum. BTS is always full of surprises. Maybe this is the beginning of something big, not the end. ARMY reaction. Between hope and sorrow. Since this video circulated, ARMY around the world unceasingly expressed their emotions. Many were moved by Jin and Jungkook's closeness, while others were worried if this was really a sign that something big was about to happen on BTS's way. I cried seeing this. Jin has always been strong, so if she cries like this, there must be something that really touches her heart, one ARMY member wrote on Twitter. However, there are also those who try to remain optimistic. BTS is always together. I'm sure it's not a breakup, just a form of affection between a family that has grown together for over a decade. Another fan said, conclusion, an unforgettable moment. Whatever really happens in this moment, one thing is certain. The relationship between Jin and Jungkook is not just a relationship between group mates, but already like siblings. I ask this a sign that Jin is feeling heavy leaving BTS for a while. Did Jungkook say something that made him feel very appreciated and loved? Or is it just a spontaneous moment exaggerated by the public? To date, there is no official confirmation from BTS or Big Hit Music regarding this incident. However, one thing is for sure, ARMY will continue to support Jin, Jungkook, and all BTS members on their journey. So, what do you think, ARMY? Is this really a sign of separation or just an expression of love and brotherhood? Let's discuss it together. Jin cries. Jungkook says something that shakes. A real moment or just a sensation? The emotional moment between Jin and Jungkook that made many soldiers moved again sparked a big debate. Is it really a spontaneous moment that illustrates their closeness? Or is there another narrative played by the media and the public to attract attention? How much of this story actually happened, and how much was embellished to make it more dramatic? Why is this moment so influential? Since the video showing Jin crying and Jungkook saying something that touched his heart went viral, many fans reacted immediately. Armies around the world offer a variety of speculations, from the notion that this is a sign of temporary separation to the possibility that something bigger is being hidden. However, before we get carried away by emotions, it is worth asking, why do we immediately believe that this moment is something so important? Is it because we want to believe that there is a hidden meaning behind each of their interactions? Or is it because the media has formed a certain narrative that makes us more and more soluble in speculation? Is this a sign of separation? One of the most widely circulated theories is that this moment is a gesture of farewell. With Jin already serving in the army and the other members slowly catching up, many assumed that this cry was a form of emotional outburst before they actually separated for a while. However, if we look back at BTS' journey through the years, they have gone through various emotional moments together. It wasn't the only time Jin cried, and it wasn't the only time Jungkook showed his tender side as a loving younger brother. Why does it feel so special this time? Could this just be an effect of our expectations as fans? Could it be that we are too eager to find greater meaning in each of their interactions? Media engineering or real moment? Inevitably, the media often exaggerate an event to attract more attention. News that is full of emotion and speculation is usually more interesting than reports that only contain simple facts. If we look at the various news that appeared after this moment, almost all of them used dramatic words such as heartrending moment, shaking cry, or a phrase that made Jin could not stop crying. However, is there any direct confirmation from BTS or Big Hit regarding what actually happened? Nothing. That is, everything we know at the moment is just an interpretation of a short video and a circulating opinion. This is not the first time the media has constructed a narrative that may not be entirely true. So, how much of this story is truly authentic, and how much is just speculation? Army reaction. Between belief and skepticism as usual, the Army's reaction was divided into two large groups. A group that believes that this is an emotional moment that really happened. They feel that Jin and Jungkook are showing their feelings honestly, without any fabrications or made-up dramas. The more skeptical group thinks this could be just a way for the media to attract attention. They do not deny that Jin may indeed be emotional, but they also feel that the news circulating is too much. There is nothing wrong with these two points of view. As fans, we can feel the same emotions as our idols. However, as intelligent individuals, we must also be able to sort out which information is based on facts and which is just speculation, conclusion, reality, or sensation. In the end, only Jin and Jungkook really know what happened between them. We can interpret these moments according to what we feel, but without direct confirmation from them, we cannot be sure of their veracity. As fans, we must learn to be more critical in addressing the news circulating. Don't be easily provoked by a deliberately dramatic narrative without a clear basis. So, what do you think? Army? Is this moment really full of meaning? Or is it just a narrative made more emotional by the media? Let's discuss it together.